Hey everybody, Erica with One Berkshire, and I'm here with Maria Rundle, who's the Executive Director of Flying Cloud Institute. I'm going to show you their sign here. They run some really amazing programming related to this brand, SMART, which is
Science Meets Art.
Science Meets Art. So Maria, give us a little bit. What is Flying Cloud?
Sure. So Flying Cloud Institute is a science and art education nonprofit,
Okay.
and it's been in the Berkshires for over 34 years.
Wow. Amazing. And so are you doing work in the schools, out of the schools? How is
Yeah,
it?
so we do in school and out of school. One of the things we do is we go into schools to help teachers teach their science, technology, and engineering standards. And we do it by bringing in local STEM professionals and artists. So the kids do things like work with a physicist on their physics standards, and then they show their learning by making a sculpture with one of our local artists that shows all the physics standards. And they take that to the younger kids and teach them.
Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
This is so perfect for the Berkshires because not only do we have a lot of STEM companies here, but we also have a ton of art organizations
Exactly.
here. So blending the two together is amazing.
Exactly. And science and art go together.
They do.
That's how we start thinking creatively.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit before we turned the camera on about creative thinking and how important that is in today's world.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think there's some powerful things about how this can help the next generation of youth just deal with the way the world is today.
No, that's right. This is a really hard time, and frankly, there's a lot of big problems like global warming that we don't have the solutions for, right? It's not just a matter of implementing existing solutions, it's a matter of having the innovators and the creative thinkers of the next generation who are going to come up with those solutions. And it's not just about coming up with the technological solutions, it's about how we relate to each other, it's about how we make meaning out of our world and ourselves, and how we understand our own identity.
Yeah.
And so science meeting art, that's the place where that happens.
Such good work. And one of my favorite parts of what they do, I'm going to pan out a little bit to show you this. Look at all that stuff, because everything they do with kids and with teachers is super hands-on, the way that learning should be. So really great work that you're doing.
And it's also a lending library if anybody wants to
Oh, all
use
right.
it.
So here,
Yeah.
take one more look and see. Do some shopping right now while you're sitting at your computer. Anything you want to borrow. All right. So this is a Women in Business interview. So let's talk about you a little bit, Maria. So you are a new executive director to this organization, which has a lot of history. So give us a little bit about maybe how you got here. And
Sure. So this organization was founded by Jane Burke 34 years ago, and she is amazing.
we
She's
have a picture of Jane,
force.
don't we?
Absolutely.
Let's show. Here's Jane. If you've never met Jane Burke, here she is doing what she does best, which is teaching kids hands-on how to use art to learn science. So that's Jane. Hi, Jane. And now here's Maria.
So Jane is a ceramicist and a chemist. And so the idea is, how do we have kids integrate multiple identities into their work? And Jane lives that, right? So she brought this incredible idea to the Berkshires. She established these amazing programs. And she actually is continuing to be a voice for this work. She's joining the local school committee.
Oh, yay.
She's a rock star. She's a rock star. So Jane started one really revolutionary and visionary stream of programming called Young Women in Science about 15 years ago.
Wow.
And this program specifically seeks to close the gender gap, which is really persistent and pernicious, especially in the hard sciences. And what we're trying to do is work directly with young women and bring them authentic science experiences, bring them into relationship with mentors that are living here locally and doing STEM professions successfully. And then what we do that's really special that I really like is we've identified through research that third grade is where girls really start losing their STEM identity. So we bring programs to third graders.
Most people think it's like middle school, but
No, it's already
actually,
done.
It's actually
already
earlier.
done. It does go off another cliff in 8th grade.
Right.
But we
the first
start in
cliff
third
is
grade.
third grade.
And what we do is we hire and train high school mentors, and we pay them a stipend to come in and work with the younger girls while they're also working with the adult STEM professionals.
Wow, so they're
we have
getting some
layered
mentoring.
mentorship.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So is that, if there were people here watching who happen to have a daughter who is in high school, is this a...
We are constantly looking for more high school mentors, whether or not they're interested in science. The real thing is, are they able to work with younger children and be part of their life in a meaningful way? And at the same time, not only do they get paid a stipend and get in relationship with
Wow,
STEM
that's
professionals,
cool.
we bring these girls together from all over the county to get to know a diverse peer group, and we give them trainings in cultural competency, financial literacy.
Wow.
We do role playings, and we really set them up for long-term success.
It's like getting paid to get a strong mentoring education. That's
exactly.
not bad. All right, so let's come back to you, because I want to know about, I mean, clearly you're amazing. You're leading this great organization and you've got great ideas. So how did you get here?
Well, I was lucky enough to grow up in the Berkshires.
All right.
So
you're from around here.
Yeah, so
Cool.
I was the beneficiary of fantastic cultural and education experiences here. I went off into the wild world. I lived all around the country. I was a union organizer at one point, and primarily working with women, helping to empower them to change their own lives through collective action. And came back to the Berkshires to live at Gould Farm. So Gould Farm is a fantastic therapeutic community for adults with mental illness. And it's a wonderful place for people to really get back in touch and in relationship with themselves and their own reality by working together to serve their community.
And you still live there now?
And I still get to live there, even though I work here, because my husband's a residential director.
Nice.
And we get to raise our kids there. So I really got very interested in education when I was living out in Ithaca, New York, and they have some really progressive community schools there where hands-on education is the way that it's done. And so when I came back to the Berkshires, I'm still all fired up about education. I joined the school committee, and as a parent, I first got to know Flying Cloud Institute, and it really fit a need for my youngest daughter when she needed more. And she found that more working with Jane, working with Flying Cloud Institute, and really identifying herself as a dancer, an artist, but also a real computer programming girl,
scientist as well,
and a scientist. Yeah.
I love that, because girls can be all of those things.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
we don't
exactly
have to limit
right.
them or put them into just one box
That's
when
right.
they could be in many boxes, like most are.
That's where creative thinking comes from.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right, so along this path that you've been taking, like clearly you've been everywhere. You chose to come back to the Berkshires. We love shouting out stories of people who have chosen to come back to the Berkshires. Have you run into any challenges where there's been a lesson you've learned that we could benefit from kind of learning through you?
Okay, so like you, I like to talk. So the big
What are you
thing
trying to say? Where'd you get that idea?
The big thing I'd say that I've probably learned is listening. And living, almost 10 years now at Gould Farm, it's been so powerful to me, for me to see that listening to someone else's story is really how we all move forward together. And that no one person has all the answers. No one person can hold the whole perspective. And so we need each other to put all the pieces together, and then we can go, we can plan, we can strategize.
So listening, and I'm guessing just being curious has something to do with that.
Yeah.
I just did that to shout out my shirt, which says Radically Curious. I wore this shirt today in honor of Maria and Flying Cloud, because I feel like that's what you're fostering with kids, is that radical curiosity.
Absolutely.
Which is game-changing.
Yeah.
So another question I've been asking people to get your wisdom is, if you could put your mentoring hat on right now and talk to us out here about just things that you've learned along the way or things that could help somebody, a word of wisdom.
All right. Well, that's a deep one, Erica. I'd have to say a word of wisdom would be that this is, like we acknowledged before, a really hard time for a lot of people. And there's a lot of really big problems. And as much as we're experiencing that as grown-ups, kids are feeling the weight of that themselves. And so to find ways to balance out and acknowledge the reality of what's happening now with the joy and the hope of being a curious person, of being a creative person, and to find those moments where we can put them in the driver's seat with authentic experiences and real responsibilities, because they are going to be the ones that lead us out of this and that lead us forward to a better place.
Yeah, like developing that toolkit. So
Developing that toolkit.
doesn't feel hopeless.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to end with this question. Tell me about women in business in the Berkshires. You're obviously inspiring a lot of people. So who inspires you? Who are some women in business in the Berkshires who inspire you?
I have to say that growing up here, I was so lucky to be part of Shakespeare and Company's Fall Festival.
Oh, yeah.
During high school. And I got to see Tina Packer in Women of Will.
Oh, nice. You
And
know I just interviewed her, right?
Yes, and
Yes.
she is a rock star.
She
so
was
Tina
amazing.
Packer,
If you haven't watched
for
that
sure.
video, check it out.
Oh my gosh, yes. If,
Okay.
if the world was made of Tina Packers, we'd have no problems.
That is true. That is true. It would be a pretty dynamic world.
And then I'd also have to say, personally, the executive director of Gould Farm, she's fairly new to the Berkshires, but she is a powerhouse.
And what's her?
Lisanne Fenston.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
mark that name down.
Yeah.
Up and coming in the Berkshires. And so.
And then finally, let me go. I could do this all day. Can I
Right.
just keep talking
I'm
about
gonna cut you off
fantastic
at
women?
some
All right, this
point,
is the
but
last
this is
one.
the last one I'm gonna let you get
Judy Rush, curriculum director of Pittsfield Public Schools.
Nice.
She does it all, and she does it with grace and good humor.
Talk about unsung heroes,
That's
all of the
right.
people in our schools. Let's just
That's
shout out
right.
all the teachers and
Thank you,
educators. And
educators.
yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you, Maria. This has been so
Yeah,
fun.
thanks you.
And thanks for being a creative and inspiring woman in business in the Berkshires and being part of our interview series.
My pleasure.
All right. So thanks, everybody. We'll catch you at the next one. And here's Maria from Flying Clouds.
Thanks
signing
so
off.
much.
Bye.